Okay, first of all, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Jaylene. This will be the first of quite a few testimonials that I have to give, but I'm going to just give this short one first just to get my toes wet. God's been moving my heart to give my testimonials and show people the power of prayer and how God really does listen to us. First of all, I've got 5 kids. The first 4 were born in 1991, 92, 94, and 96. And then my last child was born in 2012. In 1999, my husband and I were having really rough times. We weren't making a lot of money. We didn't have a stable job, neither one of us. And it was rough. We were barely able to pay our bills, and we really didn't have enough food. And I'd gotten this email, and it was back in 1998 when we didn't have YouTube and different things like that. And a lot of stuff was done through, reading and emails. So I got this email that was a story about this gentleman, a young man about 24, was in Bible study, and he had been listening to the pastor, and they were doing their Bible study. And finally he asked the pastor, why doesn't God listen to us or talk to us directly like he did in the Old Testament? Why can't we hear his voice? And the pastor said, his voice has always been there. You just aren't listening. And the guy really thought about that, and he went out to his car and he said, okay, God, I'm listening. Please move me to do something. I want to do something. Please move me and let me hear your words. Let me feel your presence. And so he's driving down the road, and all of a sudden he finds himself stopping at a convenience store, and he's standing in line with a gallon of milk in his hands, and he's going, okay, God, I'm lactose intolerant. Why are you having me buy this milk? And so he buys the milk, he gets in his car, and he starts driving, and all of a sudden he finds himself in a part of town that he's never been in before. It's kind of scary. It's, doesn't have lots of street lights, and it's just a scarier neighborhood than what he's used to. And he's like, okay, God, I'm listening to you. I'm going to do what you say, but if if anything happens, I'm running and getting back in my car. And he goes up to this door, and he can hear a baby crying. And he knocks on the door, and it takes a couple minutes or a few seconds, and he knocks again, and a man comes to the door, and he opens the door, and he sees the milk, and he just grabs the milk and goes in the house. And the guy's just standing there with his arms out like, what happened, And then the lady comes out, and she said, are you an angel? We were just praying to God. We ran out of money, and my baby's out of milk, and we can't afford anything until Friday. And he just couldn't believe it. He said, no, God just told me to bring you the milk. And so I'm sitting there. My kids, we've been out of milk for about a week. This was the next day, and I'm standing there at the kitchen sink, and I said, okay, God, I know you can do this. I have faith, and I believe in you more than anything. I know you can do this. And I just kept praying. I was praying over and over for like 15 minutes, just praying deep. Please, in Jesus Christ's name, I pray. And my children need this. This is a need, not a want. And all of a sudden, I hear this voice. And it's the lady next door, and she's going, yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo. And I look out my window, and I see her standing there at the wall. And I'm thinking, is she calling me? So I go out the door. And she's talking, she starts asking me, she goes, I noticed you just moved in and you've got 4 kids. And I said, yeah. And she said, I'm on WIC and I'm pregnant and my little girl doesn't drink milk. She's lactose intolerant. I've got all these milk vouchers. So I went ahead and picked up the milk and I thought you could use it. And she goes, do you need milk? And I said, yes. I said, do you believe in God? And she goes, yeah. I said, do you go to church? And she's all, no. And so I just wanted to let you know I was just praying to God for milk for the kids. And she just started crying and I was crying. And she went in the house and got the milk and we prayed together. And I went back in and I gave the kids milk. And I was praying a lot in these days because when you are that low, you rely on God more and you pray more. And so I was praying a lot, like every day, all the time. And 2 weeks had gone by and we'd been out of milk for about 3 days or so. And I said, okay, God, you did it before. I believe you can do it again. And I started praying for milk. And just a couple minutes later, my kids come in. They'd been playing in the backyard. And Desiree hands me the gallon of milk. And she said the lady handed it to me over the fence. And so I just want you to know it's a need, when it's a definite need, and it's needed right then, God will provide it. He will provide. You have to have enough faith and enough belief and enough trust to know that He can do this for you. And I just really wanted to share this. I have many more testimonials to share of prayers that have worked. But this was just the first one. I wanted to get my feet wet and get used to being able to talk on the camera, because I never have shown my face on the camera before. Thank you, and God bless you. And please open your heart to the love of Jesus Christ. He died for all of our sins. And you are forgiven. You just need to ask. I love you all. Thank you very much. God bless.